Recording in progress.
Good morning, this is your Stat Sensei, Mr. Spensei, and we're going to go through another simulation full on. So suppose the probability an exploratory oil well will strike oil is about 0.2. Now 0.2 means it's happening about 20% of the time. That's what that means. Conduct a simulation to answer the following question. Assume that outcome oil or no oil for any one exploratory well is independent of outcomes from the other wells. Well, we'll talk more about independence later, but it means if you struck oil before, it doesn't impact whether you will now. If you didn't strike it, it won't impact it as well. Either one is going to be independent of the other. So what has already happened doesn't impact. It says use the random number table below and conduct 15 trials. Clearly identify each trial on the table. How many wells must be drilled to find oil? So first off, that's our question. So our question's easy. They gave it to us. How many wells must be drilled in order to find oil? Success, finding a well with oil. What are we going to do? We're going to drill wells. How many trials? Well, they told us 15. Duplicates, are they permitted? And the answer is yes, because we're working with percents. If you're working with percents, it's going to be yes. All right. In this case, we have zero. We can 20%. 20 is divisible by 10. That gives me a whole number. If I end up with a whole number, I can use one-digit numbers. So I don't have to use two-digit. And so my numbers I can use are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, if I need 20%, I need two of those numbers to represent oil wells. In my case, I went ahead and chose 0 and 1. But I could have chosen any two. It really wouldn't matter, but I chose 0 and 1. So I will assign 0 and 1 represents wells that strike oil. 2 through 9 represent wells that did not strike oil. Well, I used up all the numbers, so duplicates are allowed and there are no skips. So I'm going to work from left to right, and I will select one-digit numbers, including duplicates, until I find a 0 or 1, which represents a well with oil. I'll continue to count the number of one-digit numbers, and that tells me how many wells I had to drill to find oil. I'll repeat the simulation 15 times and take the average. So the first time, no oil, no oil. Hey, there's a 1. Once I strike oil, so that means I had to drill 3. 1, 2, not, success. 4 wells. 1, 2, oh, 2 wells. 1 well. 1 well. Then I had this stretch where I had to go 19 wells and then 10 wells, etc. So I filled out my table. And when I filled out my table and added them all up, and I hope I didn't make any mistakes because sometimes I do, counting is not a strength of mine. I found that trial number 1, 3 wells. Trial number 2, 4 wells. Trial number 3, 2 wells. Trial number 4, 1. Trial number 5, 1. Trial number 6, 19 wells. Okay. So I just basically filled out the table and I added up all the successes, added up those successes and these successes. And I ended up with 74 wells. 74 divided by the number of trials is 4.93. So based on our simulation, in the long run, on average, we would expect to have to drill 4.93 wells in order to find one that struck oil. So basically almost 5 wells. Now there are a couple other questions that ask. What's the probability that it will take fewer than 3 attempts to strike oil? Well, that means I need the ones that looked at 3. Well, the first one that struck in 3 is this one. So that's 1. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, excuse me. It said fewer than 3. So I should not have counted this one. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 of them. So 6 out of the 15 is my answer. Now I could reduce it and I could turn it into a percent, but that'll work. 6 out of 15. What's the probability that it take exactly 4? Well, that means I need to go back and look and go, okay, how many times did it take exactly 4? Well, I see that it took 4 here. So that's one time. And I see the next time is it happened here. And so that's 2 times. So 2 out of 15. So basically, I can get a lot of other questions that I could answer from the table. I sure hopes that helps. In the next video, we'll run another one of these. But we will not have the template working for us. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you for watching.